What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Everybody coming in after what seemed to be or was absolutely an exciting win that I think a lot of people would kind of West Virginia out on this one. Coming down to a last-second field goal, Casey Legg remains damn near perfect on the year, say in harsh conditions. Man, I just kudos to Casey Legg. I props to him for getting that field goal to go through and holding the ball. But yeah, what an exciting win. The emergence of a certain player that seemed to have a really excellent game. Let's get your first reactions, Paul. How you feeling, man?
I feel great. Just really proud of this team's fight. I think it'd be really easy for a team to have given up by now. So I'm really proud of this team for how they played, and I'm really glad we were able to get this win over Oklahoma. I truly thought, man, are we going to lose them to the SEC without ever having beaten them in conference? And we're a football program. I don't care what our record is this year. We're a proud football program. And to say somebody whooped us for 10 or 11, 12 years is just hard to swallow. So glad we got that done. Really proud of the guys, man. Couldn't be more proud to be a Mountaineer.
Absolutely. It was a very exciting win. And like you said, to get one over Oklahoma, which we haven't been able to do since we've been in the Big 12. And the excitement to jump into this, I guess I kind of forgot. What's up, everybody? It's Big Bubba Brad with the Country Roads webcast.
Oh, yeah.
As always, voice of college football. I got too excited, man. I was just like, yeah, let's talk about it. It's like there's so much. It's like, finally something exciting to talk about. And so I think that but I'm here with Mountaineer Paul, so as always. So we're getting some people into the chat. All right, but yeah.
What's up, guys?
So exciting win, WVU 23-20 Oklahoma. Really the first quarter seemed to be really stagnant. The offense didn't really get going. So, we kind of brought up Garrett Green, a certain player, really kind of like stepped it up today. Let's focus on the offensive side. Garrett Green, how do you feel?
He's a legend for today.
Absolutely.
But obviously he's still got some improving to make. Because listen, dude, we've come on this thing for, at least I have. I haven't missed a week on here. I haven't missed a week on here for going on. I don't know. I don't know the last time I missed a game on this post-game deal, and I've had to endure loss after loss after loss and being negative. So I don't want to be too negative today, but I do think that Garrett Green has a lot of improving to do in the passing game. But man, did he put this team on his shoulders. He certainly lit the spark that we needed. He was not going to let us lose tonight. And I can't say how proud I am of him and what he did. That said, the passing game has to come along for sure.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, we got Coos in here, Mr. Coonskin Cap Coos right now. He's rocking it. Absolutely rocking it. Coos, how you feeling right now?
Feel good, man. I'm not going to let my feelings about the season so far or anything else ruin my joy after this big win. Obviously, I broke out the coonskin cap. This is something I break out on special occasions, and I think this is a special occasion, man.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
We beat Oklahoma for the first time as members of the Big 12. Got to be proud of Garrett Green for his performance, man. The kid's been here 3 years. He stuck it out. He didn't transfer in when he could have, or transfer out when he could have. He's been patient, waited his turn. He got it, and he took advantage of it, man. And like Paul said, Paul and I talked about this on a show the other day. Garrett Green's not the best quarterback out there. He's not the best thrower of the football. He's not. We all knew that.
Yeah.
But the kid, he's just a football player, man. He finds ways to make plays when he has to. He can improvise with his feet. He's just an athlete. And I've been waiting for him to get an opportunity. And he got it, and he made the best of it. And Casey Legg, man, the West Virginia kid, he's 11 or 12 out of 13. 12. He's perfect on the year. I don't know how many kicks he's kicked, but he's perfect, remains perfect. His kicks never look pretty, but they go through the uprights, man. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So I'm really excited about this win. I was so nervous. I was shaking there on that last drive, man, because I just had something. I had a bad feeling something was going to go wrong.
I did too.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're accustomed to, man.
Yeah. Certainly, I had gotten to the point where this was the first time I felt excited. God, since the Pitt game, it feels like it really feels like it's the first time I've been able to just really, be amped up about a drive. And I really think a lot of that was due to Garrett Green. And something more specifically in Garrett Green that, I always loved in the kid. I kind of came off the Garrett Green train early into the season, was way more on Nico Markiel than I was Garrett Green. I respected the fact that he stayed, though, and I think that that's something that not a lot of kids would do nowadays, which might be a testament that he's, there's a reason he wants to stay here and play. And, people want to bash coaches, but that could be one of the reasons. A kid doesn't stay 3 years, if he doesn't like the people he's playing for, quite frankly. I'll be honest about that one. But to step up and have the kind of day he did today, I think that he just always had that it factor. And I think that that's something that we've lacked in the quarterback room.
He does have it
for a long time. And I think that he just always had that. Sometimes I mistook it as cockiness, but I really think that he's had the it factor, which is something that I think that, Neil Brown just hasn't had. He hasn't had a player with an it factor. It feels like Letty Brown had 1,000 yards rushing, but you can't really say he had the pop. He was more of a grind guy. So I think that that's really why I got excited, is I saw a player with an it factor and a will to, like Paul said, will is still a win and absolutely not be okay with a loss.
Yeah. I'm so excited about this, and I'm really excited for the Steels. Bryce Ford Wheaton, Dante Stills, Sam James, all those, and all the obviously the guys on the offensive line, but especially those guys that've been here for so many years and had to endure what they've endured. They deserve it, man, and they deserve to go to a bowl game. I hope we get that for them so bad. My feelings aside, I'm really happy for. I just can't really talk. I'm so happy about all this. It's a great day to be a Mountaineer, man. I was trying to watch what Skip Bayless was tweeting there. He's an Oklahoma fan, and I I don't think he's very happy today either.
Yeah, I would say so. But, with the emergence of Garrett Green, I think that people are going to step back and kind of assess, is this a one-time thing, or is this going to be a continuous thing that some consistency that we have not yet seen probably in Neil Brown's career. But, maybe if he can keep consistent games strung together, then we can reach that bowl game, which, the possibility is still out there without a doubt. And so now it begs the question, how are you guys feeling about JT Daniels? Kuz, how are you feeling about him?
I mean, I've been saying for the last couple of weeks now that he needs to be, he's either going to have to pick his game up or they need to make a change. And I actually, believe it or not, Paul and I, the other day, I told Paul, I said, I'd give Garrett Green or JT Daniels 2 or 3 drives. And if he doesn't perform, they need to bench him. And that's what they did. And
spot on with that.
And, I kind of feel bad for the guy a little bit because I know he was trying. I know he wasn't tanking. But something just was off with him. And, the coaching staff needed to make the best move for the good of the team. And I think they did that. And 2, players can see that he's struggling. And if your teammates see that he's struggling and the coaching isn't making a change, it could hurt the morale of the team,
Yeah.
Players start to press. Change, you could almost kind of see the team rally around Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
And,
absolutely.
They were going up and getting his 50-50 balls. And I'm not saying they wouldn't have done that anyway, but it was just good to see. I don't know. You just sensed the spark in the team when he got in there. It was just something, and that's what I had a feeling would happen if they give. And like I said, his passing stats are never going to blow you away because that's not his game. But I don't give a crap. I just want to win games.
Yeah, and he threw. He threw decently when he had to in the weather conditions.
He made some clutch throws today.
Yeah, and some guys caught some balls. That was a tough day to catch. To be a wide receiver and a quarterback, and a field goal holder at that. So, yeah, definitely tough. And and I think that my feelings with JT Daniels, I'd kind of mentioned it to Paul before we hopped on here. I've been iffy on JT Daniels, realizing he's not kind of putting up the production we thought, but I didn't know. I was leaning more towards being hurt, right? Like he's wore out, hasn't played in a while. I think that I was leaning way towards that.
Yeah.
And so I get to today, and I see Garrett Green go in there, and he's having a hell of a game, and he's getting a lot of support, and he's getting the fans amped up, and he's putting drives together. And, I saw a lot of people around Garrett Green, but who I didn't see up there supporting him? I didn't see standing behind him, giving him his infinite knowledge that he knows about these teams. JT Daniels. I didn't see him in those huddles encouraging his his quarterback getting a chance. And to me, I think that's something to sniff out. Neil Brown has said you have to ask him, why is he, what's happening with these throws? People want to think that it's anything else, but I just expected more, and that could be me looking into it too much, but that's something I noticed. What about you, Paul?
Yeah. Well, I caught a lot of heat for some of the things I said about JT before. I feel like before it was real popular to say it. Because we make this content for a living, I had the opportunity to jump into the numbers and see what his performances were looking like, and they just weren't adding up to even some of our offensive totals. Like in the Baylor game, he didn't have a good Pro Football Focus score that day. Well, it's like this: the only games he's had a good score are against Baylor. Baylor was his best score, but it wasn't a good score, And so he's had one 300-yard game, which was against Kansas. He's had one 3-touchdown game, which is also against Kansas. He's had 5 now at this point under 200-yard performances, and that's not what we signed up for. 5-star pedigree is great, and it looks great when you look at it on a piece of paper, but that's as far as it gets you. So at the end of the day, it's about everybody else on the team. Me and Kuzma talked on the side, and at some point you give a kid a chance because it's his last chance. He's been hurt everywhere he's gone. He's been replaced everywhere he's gone, whether that be because of injuries or what. But you can only give him so many opportunities before it's not fair to everybody else on the squad. And that's what it was becoming. And especially for whatever reason, inexplicable, just another mark against Neil Brown to Garrett Green has 2 drives, which there was a spark. And then all of a sudden, JT Daniels gets inserted back into the game for a drive, does nothing, and gets pulled again. It's like so now you've even hurt his confidence even more by doing that. And it just made you look dumb. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair. I think that I tweeted out at one point in time that if Garrett Green goes off, that's going to be the worst thing that ever happened to Neil Brown. I'm like, not saying that Garrett Green was ready to play last year, but he could have played last year. I think some people have brought up Steven on the Country Roads webcaster brought up if you keep Garrett Green in against Oklahoma, or you put Garrett Green in against Oklahoma last year, you probably walk out of that with a win, just because of the dynamic ability he gives our offense. So, but yeah, what's going on? Let me get to the chat a little bit here. We got a bunch of people in here. How's everybody doing? Let's see if I can find one. I had a couple in here that I picked out, and then I lost them, man. Okay, we got Mountain Layer with Kenny in here. Shout out Kenny. People go check out his YouTube channel over there. Mountain Layer with Kenny, I believe it is. Hey, Brad. Hey, Mountaineer Paul. Let's celebrate with our kids. They deserve it. And hey, Coos. He checked you in there at the end.
What's up, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good day to celebrate. I think all of us as fair fans know that we've been supporting this team. We've been critical of the coaching staff, but very supportive of the team. And we're going to celebrate with them when they win, and ride with them when they lose. It's just life as a fan, I feel like. We got Jeff Riggs in here. What's up, Jeff? He said, get Green more practice reps, and Green could be the new White. Since we kind of have been talking on Garrett Green, I guess we could reach out a little bit. Do you think that he comes back as a starter, or do you think JT Daniels keeps that title? I don't see it changing anytime personally soon, but how do you feel about it, Paul?
I don't know how he can change back to JT at this point. But if there's one coach we've ever had that would do it, it's Neil freaking Brown. So I won't rule anything out with Neil Brown. He might have a better week of practice than Garrett Green. See, this is one thing I don't like about Neil Brown. He says there's no gamers. There's no such thing. I just disagree with that 100%.
I do too.
Garrett Green's not the kind of dude you're going to sit and practice and say, oh, yeah, high caliber Power 5 guy there. You get him into the game and see what happens tonight. And that's when he comes out of his shell and plays like he's capable of playing. You don't put your body on the line in practice. You do in the game. So that's just another strike against Neil Brown. I'm sorry. Another thing I don't like or agree with. But hopefully Garrett Green comes out as a starter next week. He has definitely earned that.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, Garrett Green is definitely given an argument for that and has shown, his willingness and toughness to kind of stick through it. How do you feel, Kuz? Do you think that this was a one-time performance for Garrett Green, or do you think that they trust him to kind of build that courage?
Well, I kind of agree with Paul. I mean, I think he should get the start next week because I think he earned it. But there again, we'll see. And the only thing that, the pessimist side of me wants to say, hey, now that he's not going to surprise anybody now, so Kansas State will prepare for Garrett Green. So maybe he won't be able to replicate that again. I don't know, but you got to give him a shot. I mean, at this point, Neil Brown's coaching for his job, so you've got to pull out all the stops, right? And you gave JT chance after chance after chance. He didn't come through for you. Garrett did. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Garrett gets the start. Give him a full week of reps with the ones at practice. See how it goes, and throw him out there next Saturday. And if he sucks it up, first couple drives, then take him out. It's big boy football. But I think you got to at least give him a chance to be the starter.
Yeah, straight up. And I think that you kind of touched on a point that we've been curious about is, if he gets a couple drives next week and you pull him out, do you even still go with JT Daniels? I mean, I think that we're even to the point of you've given him a shot. You're at the bottom of the barrel now, brother. You don't have a choice to go back to what you were doing. Mm-hmm. You've done shown him what you can do. So, like, when you go down from that, we're getting more into the summer conversations of, what's our 2, 3, 4. And, I wouldn't mind to see either one of them. I feel very confident about each guy behind Garrett Green. So I don't even know if I'm going to JT Daniels if I pull Garrett Green out. I could be absolutely insane on that, but
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. I don't know why you would. You need to make a decision on Goose or Nico. Who do you think it's going to be? Or, let's say Garrett Green is a starter and you believe he is next year. Who do you think is your number 2 guy, or who do you think is the future? Whichever one you think it is, there's less than 4 games left now. There's no eligibility concerns. Who do you want to put out there, either behind Garrett Green, or if you just want to go ahead and throw somebody out there, get them the reps for next year? Whatever it is, but I don't feel like JT Daniels is a part of that mix unless you feel like coming into next year he's going to improve with new talent. I mean, there's just so many different ways this can go. He could truly – I don't want to say this sounds bad, but he could – in a sense, this could stagnate the program if JT decides to stick around. Just another wrench that could be thrown in there that could, no matter who the coaching staff is, you've got to give JT a look, going to training camp next year. And especially because a lot of us think he's probably not healthy. And if that's the case, he may go out in training camp next year and really just perform well. There's so many ways to come at this. I don't know how to come at it. I'm glad I'm not the coach. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. I think it's a real tough decision.
But I do want to say real quick, though, the next Pat White, I think that's an overreaction.
Yeah, you're putting a lot on a young man's shoulders right there.
Oh, yeah, one other thing to your point from earlier. We're going to have to do something that Neil Brown has never done to get to a bowl game, and that's win 3 in a row. Never done.
He just did something that no Mountaineer head coach has done in the Big 12.
That's true. That's a great start.
That is a heck of a start if you're trying to do some stuff you've never done.
But he did try to screw it up, too, a little bit today.
But let's put that in context. This is the worst Oklahoma team we've played so far in the Big 12. And there's only one other coach to compare it to. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fair, Coos, fair. I give you that.
Leave it up to me to dampen your argument there.
Try to make.
He loves bringing levity to the situation.
That's right.
He loves to.
Absolutely. I think we got Mr. Blue Hawk in here, 71. What's up, man? Always around. Love you as always.
Thanks, Blue Hawk.
He makes the team want to win, and I think he's talking about Garrett Green there. Yeah, because he said we can still go to a bowl with Garrett Green.
His energy is infectious, man.
Absolutely. I think it's that it factor. Definitely, it's something like we just haven't had. We got Jay Glizzy in here, 1999, and I think this comes around. Neil Brown's obviously still not safe, right? I think that we would all continuously agree on that. But this kind of begs my question of, realistically, if you're trying to string together 3 wins, if he wants to keep his job, what are the things he has to do? Right, it's just so impossible at this point, but we can imagine a realistic path of which we can
conjecture about it.
Yeah, you go 6-6, you win a bowl game, you show that you're willing to change. I feel like in order to get there, you have to show your willingness to change, and it's something we haven't seen with him yet. And so with the change today, I'm more curious is this them really tying his hands and letting Graham Harrell go? Or is this, Neil Brown finally just making that decision to change?
I think Neil Brown's the one making the decision to change the quarterback. But because I think that's a head coaching decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think he got left. I mean, he kind of hinted in the press conference last week that it might happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he kept bringing JT back in the game, I started doubting whether he would actually do it or not. And then, of course, if you heard the announcers talk, Graham Harrell apparently alluded to them that Garrett would probably get a chance this week. So I think they had already talked about this before the game and kind of decided, hey, JT's going to be on a short leash today. But to the point there that he's not safe, I totally agree. And if he wins out and wins a bowl game, I'll be honest with you,
there's probably no way to fire him.
I don't think you fire him after that. How could you? I don't
know
think
if
you
you
can fire
could.
him this week now after winning this game. There's no way you fire him right now. Is there?
No, I really don't think so, which is crazy, man, because wins will change your mind.
They will. And I'm not – now, if they lose – all right, let me ask you guys a question. If they don't win out and don't make a bowl game, let's say they beat Kansas State at home, and then they lose to Oklahoma State on the road, again, another road loss, and they miss a bowl game, do you fire him after the season?
Sure. Absolutely, I do. No question.
Okay. Bradley?
Okay, so I've been trying to hold myself accountable this year. It's been my goal in this stuff, and I have said since the beginning of the season that I didn't really care what the record was for Neil Brown. I just wanted to see improvement in his team. I wanted to see guys playing the right kind of ball, like not being sloppy. In the beginning of the year, that has not happened, right? I could live with at the beginning of the year, I said I could live with a 5-7 team as long as they looked better. If he can show me a significantly better product on the field for the most consistent games he's ever done in his tenure here at West Virginia University, then I'm going to stick to my terms and say, hey, it wasn't pretty at the beginning of the year, but he found a way to win at the end of the year. I can live with a 5-7 if I think that the team is actually going on an upward direction, and I would stick with him. But if we go out and we have a sloppy couple wins and it's a couple gimmies, we don't see the change continuously. I think some things still need to be changed, but if I don't see that, then no. Like I would rather you just go, because if you're not changing, then you're not willing to do what it takes to stay here. And I feel like that's kind of like the bar I've set for myself with him. So yes, I would take him at 5-7 if it just looks better.
That's fair, I guess. It's fair. I
don't know. Yeah, I'm listen. I'm not coming at you or nothing like that, Brad. I just don't.
Hey, no, I think I don't blame you. But it's just I told myself at that beginning of the year, and I'm trying to hold myself accountable, right? Because I really want to say.
I feel like we were really lucky to win this football game today. If you go back and look at the tape, probably Dylan Gabriel should have had probably almost 300 yards at halftime. They dropped at least 3 wide open go balls that hit the hands. The inclement weather was the reason. If this game were played in sunny weather today, this game's a 10-point loss or more. So I hate to look at it like that.
I got to put
because
I love you, Paul, but the West Virginia receivers were catching balls in the same weather. They executed better.
Well, they hit them right in the hands. You know what I mean? Literally, like wide open. Our DBs were beat.
That's what I'm saying. Our guys caught balls in the exact same weather. So that's on. They didn't execute. We did. I don't think this was a lucky win at all. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, number one, our defense stepped up and held Oklahoma to 20 points. Now they did give up 200 yards on the ground, which they've got to correct. And I'm not saying the weather didn't factor into that, but we played in the same weather. So I feel like we have to give them credit where credit is due there. And two, for the people who want Jordan Leslie fired, and I've been on that. I was on that earlier in the season. Our defense has improved, man. You cannot tell me the defense you see today is not better than the defense we were watching 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's much improved, in my opinion. What do you got?
I definitely felt some of that today, and I think that a lot of that has to do with experience. a lot of our JUCO guys and stuff like that, Charles Woods, didn't come on till the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just a theme with those kind of guys that are really taking that step up from FCS to FBS or, group of 5 to Power 5. But, yeah, I definitely have noticed it. They've definitely played better keeping Oklahoma team. I do think that the weather had something to play in it. I think that that's probably why the score was lower. And, if the weather's nicer, I think that it does lead to more scoring. And then I don't know if we keep up because, Oklahoma was one of the fast-paced offenses in the country. Yeah. I mean, right, especially in the Big 12. They're up there in the country, I would say, too. But they're one of the more fast-paced offenses in the country. And they really couldn't do that today, I would say, because of the rain. Not to take anything away from our boys because we played in the same environment and we found the way to win, like Coos said. But I definitely think the defense has played better, I'll say. And, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They looked better today than they have.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't play the rest of the games at home.
Yeah.
I know. And Kansas State is going to be – and we got two of the top 3 teams in the conference, arguably, coming up the next year. So and
who could prepare for a running quarterback better than them? All they've got to do is put Adrian Martinez in the backfield and replicate what we just did. And if you didn't hear it on TV today, apparently if you follow the freaking tight end, you're going to know where the running back goes with us.
Yeah, if you didn't
watch I can't believe how many times he said that today and just couldn't wait to put it on the teleprompter. And then they were showing plays he thought was going to be the one he was talking about. That was blowing my mind.
I felt like I was watching ESPN Plus because I couldn't get anything right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then he was like, okay, now here's the play. And it was a different play. It was a play where towards the end of the game where Garrett Green stretched it out and threw the little 7-yard pass to Caden Prather. Mm-hmm. And he thought that was going to be the running play that Garrett Green did where he followed the tight end.
Speaking of that play, though, that play looks like it's nothing. And and that looks like an easy play. Number one, I don't think JT Daniels makes that play because he doesn't have the scrambling ability. 2, that was, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that on a 3rd down? And I don't remember the down, so I don't want to assume. But I mean, to me, that was a big play in the game because it got us right at the sticks again, and it kept us moving the chains. And it looked like he was dead in the water. It looked like he was going to run out of bounds to throw the ball away, and then boom, he finds his ability to extend plays is what made that happen. And, of course, you got to give the receiver credit for hanging around and coming back to the ball. But I don't know that JT makes that play, guys. I really don't.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think so either.
And it looks like a little dink and dunk 7-yard play, but it's bigger than that, man. It's bigger than that because it's one piece because it's all about stacking play after play after play, and that's what he was able to do today because of his athleticism.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was just gonna reach out to chat here real quick. I've got a couple more guys in here. Silas in here as always. Yeah, he says I'm numb, boys, but sat through it all. Let's go, GG. Absolutely, Silas. I hope you warm up, buddy. I say that win should warm up your soul. So I think you'll heat up pretty quickly here.
We got the misplaced talking about emotionally.
Gotcha. I mean, he may have been. I don't know if he was at the game. I was expecting he was talking about being at the game, but let us know, Silas, when you're still in here, buddy. You got Misplaced Hillbilly in here, and he says, is Nico a running quarterback? I guess just coming back to our conversation about who's number 2 and 3. Yes. Nico will tuck the ball and roll it.
But I think he's more of a pass first. I think he looks to pass the ball first, but he can run if he has to. Whereas Garrett, I think, would prefer to run it, to be honest.
He runs a lot like Tim Tebow did. If you ever get a chance to go watch his high school film, go watch the game against Bishop Gorman. Just go check it out. You'll fall in love with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I would say he's very similar to Garrett Green, except for he came from a actual like RPO offense where Garrett Green came from really just like an option offense, like just running the ball. So so that's where you're looking at the difference there. I was saying, don't forget my man Goose. He can run too. So gotcha. Let's get some more in here. Gotcha. And we got Misplaced Hillbilly in here again. He said, I think GG showed what type of quarterback and offense WVU needs to be successful. A running QB that's tough. Physicality has been missing from West Virginia University football since Rich Rod. I know a lot of people have been calling it out and saying, what's the point in doing an RPO without having a quarterback that can run the ball. I think that I even heard you guys say it a couple times.
Yep.
I've said it,
including people like Dale Wolfley, and
Mhm.
people that actually know what they're talking about, have
Yeah.
said the exact same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I would honestly take it, me personally, I'm taking a Skylar Howard over a Will Greer any day. Skylar Howard found a way to win. And, he had the heart to go out there and do it. Will Greer was extremely talented, amazing athlete. And, I love that he was here. But Skylar Howard went out and won games all the time.
Right.
Gotcha. We got Thomas Highlander in there with
one.
an interesting question. What's up, Thomas? He says, what do you think JT's mindset is now? He didn't come here to be a backup. He's either going to transfer again or is he going to try the draft? I think that he's personally going to try the draft. I don't know if he transfers again. I think that he's tired of being in college. I told you I don't feel like he cares as much. I think that he's ready to go to pro day, show him how smart he is, what his arm talent's like, and just see if somebody's willing to take him on. How you feeling about that, Paul? What do you think JT Daniels' mindset is?
Yeah, listen, if JT is healthy, I really, the more I think about it, it's just not the same quarterback we watched, Even though his numbers were down and his football grades were down, Kuz had pointed out, ever since we saw that photo of him with the ice on his shoulder, he just hasn't looked the same. So I think if you get him in front of NFL scouts, he's going to nail the Wonderlic test. I have no doubt. So I think just pure arm talent, I think he'll get somebody to take a chance on him for sure. JT in a West Coast offense, if somebody can help him work on his fundamentals and rolling out and throwing the ball, would be probably a good quarterback. And you never know, he could develop into a starter one day in the NFL. I really think he has that kind of arm talent. I don't know what's happened to him. I really don't.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Absolutely.
That guy, that's not the same guy that played against Pitt, for sure.
Not the same guy. And if he is here's the only frustrating thing to me. If he is hurt, I understand his fear of maybe not letting that out because he doesn't want to hurt his draft stock.
Yeah.
But to me, and I don't want to. I'm not here to try to bash anybody or combat, but wouldn't that be a little bit of a selfish move if you know that you can't perform the way you're supposed to perform? Shouldn't you tell your coach and say, "Hey, man, my shoulder just ain't there," or whatever, so that they can replace you?
I agree.
Or maybe he did
Yeah.
that, and they still thought he would be their better option. And if that's the case, then I have 100 more questions.
Yes, I agree with you, Kuz, 100%. But to play devil's advocate on that a little bit, not devil's advocate, but just a different way to look at it, would be like maybe he's just that confident in his abilities, more so than he's just being selfish about it.
Yeah, that's a good way to
maybe
look at it.
Maybe he just thinks he was a little nicked up.
Yeah.
When in all reality, it's called, the
That's
last
fair.
person to find out is you. A lot of times, you know what I mean?
That's fair, yeah, because in your mind you think you can still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we're getting, about the 30-minute mark in here, I just want to give you guys a chance to get your shout out. As always, I'm Big Bubba Brad with the Country Roads webcast. Back here on the Voice of College Football, talk about West Virginia's win. Where can people find you guys at? I know that you guys got your new channel, Hoops from the Hills, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with it. I apologize. It's been a busy week for me, but check you guys out there with your basketball content. And where can they find you at, Mountaineer Paul?
Oh yeah, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. We're growing pretty fast over there. We've hit almost 400 subscribers. We're like 10 away or something from that. So we've got there we've got there in a month. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you can find me at Kuz's Corner. My channel is just a little over a year old, so I've been at this a little bit longer than Paul has. But yeah, find me at Kuz's Corner. I also talk college football, mainly West Virginia and Big 12. Touch a lot on conference realignment. I touch a lot on, any major storylines that come through around the Big 12 conference, or even nationally. Sometimes I'll touch on too. But and then of course, like Bradley mentioned earlier, Paul and I have started a new channel called Hoops from the Hills. If you want to get your college basketball fix, CRW does their thing as well. They cover West Virginia basketball. And Paul and I have decided to do that as well, and we've partnered together for this new channel to try to keep our basketball content separate from our football content. Just be a little bit more focused on what we're doing on each channel. But yeah, come check that out as well. We ask that you please subscribe. And don't forget, guys, if you're here, this West Virginia Voice of College Football channel, please subscribe to this channel. We're really trying to get to that 1,000 number. I'm sure Mark Rogers would appreciate it. I know Golden Blue Dude would appreciate it. Bradley, Jordan, Paul, all of us, we appreciate you if you can help us get to that 1,000 mark. And look, if you don't like the content, get us to 1,000. Once we get up to about 1,020 or 30, unsubscribe. We just need to get that 1,000 number, so that we can start making a little change at this thing.
Absolutely exciting. It almost feels like community building this. And I think that us as West Virginia fans, I think that have a really good collective of content coverers. So my mind's blanking on, content creators, Mountaineer football. And I don't think that every single program kind of has this community that it feels like we've kind of built and growing these channels like this.
I agree.
And you two fellas do a absolute hell of a job. And
thank you.
Make sure everybody's subscribing them up there. Kuz's Corner and Mountaineer Paul. And also check us out over the Country Roads webcast. You got me, Cruz, and Steven out there checking things out. Oh, didn't mean to hit this with Ben and Sam's LOL. But yeah, check us out over there. We're covering football and college basketball, really just Mountaineer specific. We're really in on that. We're that last bit there for anybody that wants to just find that last crumb of WVU content when you've exhausted all the rest. So that going forward, we've talked about the offense a good bit. We've kind of touched on the defense. We talked about the improvements, but some people that kind of stood out to me today, Jordan Jefferson is always really continues to be an amazing player. I hope he sticks around for another year. Has been significant. I thought Aubrey Burks has been solid on that backside.
And he's only a redshirt freshman too, or a sophomore maybe. He's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It is really exciting, and I think that he's the closest that I've come to seeing a bit of an eraser that they've talked about before, an eraser on the defensive side. It always seems that if somebody breaks loose, he's either the one that's trying to chase them down or is the one that's making the stop. And so I definitely feel more confident having Aubrey Burks back there helping us cover those things. Who are some guys that stood out to you, Kuz? Anybody in particular that really?
It's like Dante had another nice game today. Sean Martin, I heard his name a lot today. He seemed to be wreaking some havoc. Got a shout out to my Southern West Virginia boy there.
Yeah, down there in Mercer County.
Absolutely. But yeah, I know obviously I love to see these hometown guys do well. That's what we have a lot of pride in our state, as you guys know. So we like to see local kids succeed. But yeah, Sean Martin, Dante Steele look good. Aubrey Burks. There's one little thing, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. The one little glimmer of hope. There's like I'm still leaning towards that we need to make a change at head coach. But the one little glimmer of hope I get with Neil is this: if you look at some of the young guys on our roster that he recruited, that will probably stay if he stays. Aubrey Burks, Davis Mallinger, Jacoby Spells, who I didn't see out there today, by the way. Maybe I missed it.
Or maybe the fact that you didn't see him was a good thing.
Mumu Ben Wahad. I'm just trying to think of some others. That's just a few off the top of my head on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, Raleigh Collins.
Yeah. Lee Coba, I think, has got another year. So, some of these guys, and Lee Coba's got talent. He's just trying to put everything together. And he's our leading tackler, so he's done something.
I would even say Malachi Ruffin.
Ruffin.
Preferred walk-on, has been picked on a lot this season.
Yeah, and he was there. He made a couple stops today. Now, he didn't turn around in time to intercept the ball. One of them hit him in the back of the head. But you know what? Had he not been in position, the ball doesn't hit him in the head. That's why
I'll take the ball hitting him in the head rather than the ball hitting the receiver in the hands any day.
Absolutely. So, yeah, and then on the offensive side, you've got C.J. Donaldson. You've got Justin Johnson. You've got Jalen Anderson, who showed some flashes today.
Zach Frazier.
Wyatt Milam. There are guys on this roster. Traylon Davis, I think.
Traylon Davis, yeah. That's what I was about to say. Traylon Davis.
He's only a freshman, but he's got potential.
Yeah, Corbin Page is right behind
this roster that could be extremely, extremely good in about 1 to 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If they just get time.
Yeah.
So, and then you add in, Nico and some of the guys that haven't even seen the field yet. And this this upcoming recruiting class that looks to be pretty good if we don't keep losing guys. So there is some hope I have that if he stays, that the talent he's bringing in will eventually flourish. I think he has just struggled. He has struggled to win with the guys he inherited, basically, and also mixed in with the younger guys. And and he's been hit hard by the portal, which there again, I put that a lot on his shoulders because he should have retained more guys. But that is a little glimmer of hope I have if they do decide to keep Neil Brown. Maybe these young guys end up being really good down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the class of 22 has been putting their stamp on this year for sure. You've got players that have been really stepping up, and the class of 23 has been not 23, 21 has also been very significant. And it just makes you wonder what happened. Year 4, Neil Brown, what happened to his first couple of years of recruiting. And if you go back a long time ago, Neil Brown had brought up the fact that he felt that he really missed the mark on his first year recruiting.
Yep.
He said, we picked the wrong people, and we're trying to move on from that. And then the next year, maybe you can chalk it up to the transfer portal, but it is easy to see that those young guys are talented. And so, we've had questions about can this coaching staff identify talent? And, I've definitely witnessed it more in our recruiting kids, but I haven't noticed it as much in the transfer portal. So
that's where it really sucked.
Yeah. But the transfer portal is a new game. So they've got to learn, They got to adapt.
Absolutely.
And so
that's a fair point.
And they've missed on tight end position, in my opinion. They've missed on the defensive back position, maybe the linebacker position. I haven't really decided whether they've won or lost on that one yet.
We haven't seen Tyreek Austin Cave, which would be nice.
Yeah, haven't seen him. I mean, Koba's been back. Koba's been okay. He's struggling in pass coverage, but he's been good in stopping the run, and he's our leading tackler.
Oh yeah, I know he's a Mike. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to impose that. Lee Kapogba would be the one coming out. I was thinking about letting him run anywhere on that linebacker core because I think that they've been a little sus as well.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. But
I'll tell you what.
And then obviously, maybe they missed a quarterback. I don't know. I mean, but nobody can blame me for that one. Who wouldn't have taken JT Daniels, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right. Sure.
But they've missed at some other spots that have hurt us. They didn't get anybody at the wide receiver position. And I heard, I think it was the 24/7 guys say that they actually were trying to get guys from the portal. They just didn't land anybody.
Yeah.
So,
it's also because you didn't pick up a quarterback until late who's going to walk into the situation in which they were given.
Right.
The Iowa transfer that went to Purdue and had himself a year, Charlie White, is that his name?
The receiver?
Yes.
Yeah,
he
I
was a
actually
target
on him. I don't remember his name, but yeah, I know you're talking about.
He ended up catching like 70 or 80 balls for them this year after doing nothing at Iowa. Makes you wonder about Forrest and what they got going on there, that they couldn't plug him in, a guy that is as good as that receiver was. But anyway, get off topic. Jasir Cox, man, for me is my player of the game. He did so well today, chasing things down. And I mean, I think they even said on the broadcast, how many times they mentioned, how many times they had to say his name at one point. So I was really glad to see him in that North Dakota State pedigree that he brought with him, man. He's an undersized guy. I think they finally figured out that he just plays a little better around the box because they were trying to play more in coverage. He does well at that too, but better around the ball. He's just a little bit smaller of a guy. And then Lance Dixon was blowing up those screen passes they were trying to throw, because he's really a linebacker, but they've got him playing in like a nickel type situation. So he's out on the edge. And we got these wide receivers trying to block Lance Dixon on these bubble screens. It's not going well for him. I was excited to see that too.
And
that's a tough off thing to do. Sorry,
it is. At the beginning of the year, he was playing the wheel position, and they moved him to safety. Maybe that ends up being a great move.
Maybe he's got the speed.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot to learn in coverage. I think he could be done though.
Oh yeah,
he's definitely got the talent.
He does. I mean, he was a 5-star recruit out of high school for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We could all sit here and talk ourselves into Neil Brown for another year. Coos sitting there talking, I'm sitting here agreeing with him.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, I feel like it's, I'm still on board with kind of the idea that Coos had floated a week or so ago about extending Neil Brown for a year. I'm feeling way more confident in that decision if I see a Neil Brown that's making changes and winning games. I'm a lot more
It
likely
makes
to
it
be
easier,
okay with
doesn't it?
like, hey, yeah, give him another year. If he sucks the first 3 games of next year, drop him and like let's go. But
But
at
he needs
this
to win more
point,
than one, though. That's the problem.
yeah,
We can't let ourselves get sucked into the Neil Brown's a great
Right.
coach after one game.
absolutely.
Oh no, don't think that.
I
And
just
no,
I feel
don't
like,
forget-
I was embellishing that, but you see what I mean.
yeah, and I absolutely
And-
feel
And there is precedent, guys. If you'll remember, does anybody else remember a team that went on a run and beat Army? So
Yeah.
this has happened before. A team with Neil Brown has gone on a run. We haven't done it yet, but if we did do it, we went on that run and won. What was it, 3 or 4, and then beat Army in the bowl game, or 2? How did that work?
I don't remember. Last year we went on a run. We were 2-4 second half of the year and ended up winning 4 out of our last 6.
yeah,
But
it was
we
just
still
split up
haven't won 3
2-2.
games in a row. That's the
Yeah,
That's
and I
really
think that-
weird. That's just such a weird stat.
Yeah, it's strange, and it's one of those things where it comes to, I think that we've all like complained about the consistency, and that's
It's
just
the road. It's on
Yeah.
the road.
The
Yeah.
road game just
It's
what's killed us, man. They just and every podcast you listen to, and even I've heard former players say this, a team that's not ready to play on the road, it's all on the coach. Every bit of it's on the coach because you have to get your guys ready. And this team is never ready to play on the road for some reason, and nobody knows why.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last weekend they went and watched a movie, so that's what they went and
He
did.
was trying something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is something that Neil Brown has not done yet is change. So
And it
As
seems like this year he's trying
meticulous
because I think he knows
as
he has to.
as meticulous as he is, I don't think it's an attention to detail thing. There's something else that's missing. I don't think that it's not they're not prepared. Like, I believe they're given the material they need to study or whatever it is, and being helped along as best they can to study this stuff. I'm not sure where the disconnect is. It's in the application, but I just can't figure out where at in the application. You know what I'm saying?
We're not going to know if we're not in the room.
Right.
absolutely.
Which
And
is
I'm not
why
even
me
sure
and
they
Coos
know, 'cause
are
if they
trying
do, they
to.
fix it.
Right.
Right. Well, guys, look, I'm gonna have to jump off here. I have to take my daughter somewhere, so I'm gonna have to jump off. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I always enjoy chatting it up with you guys, and hope you have a good rest of the show.
Gotcha. Thanks for hopping on, Coos. Everybody, make
Hey,
sure
man.
you go subscribe him up, give him a like on his videos, and help spread him around. So you should definitely growing really good right now. So, with that being said, I'm gonna try to see if I can't knock out a few more of these comments in here. We still got people riding with us. What do we got? Man, I keep getting them set up, and then I touch it, and it gotcha. We got Zachary Valeric in here, and he says, I think we all need to give Paul his credit. He was right about benching JT. I just want to give you a little nod out there. So you're gaining
That's
supporters there, Paul.
Yeah, that's my good friend Zach, man. I love you, Zach.
How do you pronounce his last name?
Valoric.
Valoric. Ah,
Yeah, he's a really good dude, man. He really is. I love you, Zach, man. I really do.
Yeah, we love on the show, man. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he and I went through a really tough time together at one point.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's always good to have those people around, man.
Yep.
I was trying to find some here. I don't remember where the ones. I can't find it. So anyway, we're getting to kind of talk about the offense and the defense here. Let's get into kind of like the players of the game. I know you had mentioned Jasir Cox, player of the game. I'll go ahead and let mine out there as well before we do the offensive ones. I thought the defensive player of the game is Jordan Jefferson. I thought a day where he really needed to stand up, a few big plays, but really holding down that middle, kind of like an unsung hero. And a day where they really needed to run the ball. I think that we did a good job stopping that up, and I thought that he played a crucial part in it. Just really been enjoying that more, man. And I think that he just needs the recognition.
Yeah.
Around to the offensive side of the ball. Do you think we're going to say different people?
Well, if you want to take Garrett Green, you can.
Oh, I'll take Garrett Green. Yeah, I'll scoop him up. Thank you. I'll say ended up with over 100-yard rushing. I think 1 rushing touchdown, no passing touchdowns. 1 passing touchdown. Yeah, 1 rushing, 1 passing. Sorry, I don't have the stats pulled up. But yeah, Garrett Green for sure came in, lit a spark, got this team a rolling, man, and it was got me excited. So who you got, Paul? Who's your offensive player of the game?
Do you know who was leading the way for Garrett Green the whole time? Those
Was it
freaking
the tight
tight
ends?
ends. If you follow the tight end,
Yeah, if you follow them tight ends.
if you follow the tight ends, you'll know where the running game is. I hope somebody tells the coaching staff about this, because if that guy knows it on TV, for sure the coaching staff Kansas State's going to know about it next week. So we need to run away from the tight ends next week or something, because that's all he talks about.
Yeah, be sending the tight ends the wrong way every time.
I'll say, you know what, man? I think he never gets enough credit, so I'll say Zach Frazier as well. You know, along with the tight ends, Davis and Palende. He's such a mainstay for us there up front. And I watched him today. He was pancaking dudes again. That just seems to be what he does. He goes about his business. I think he's probably one of the best players in school history that nobody ever talks about. You know, and he's truly been taken for granted amidst all this chaos and stuff that's happened.
Yeah, and I definitely think that that's a guy that we can kind of bank on to be part of our future. Oh, yeah, still nice one. Part of our future, no matter what going forward. And so, you know, that does gives me comfort. Whatever the future may bring, I'll be happy to ride along right there with Zach Frazier. With that being said, let me hear your play of the game.
Play of the game?
Play of the game.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go with – dang, man, you got me on the spot for that one. That last first down we got, I'll say that was the play of the game. We were able to put the game away, you know. Had we kicked the field goal there, Oklahoma gets the ball back with a little over a minute left, and I don't know if our defense holds up or not there. They'd shown the ability to go down and score a touchdown. Yeah, it'd have been nerve-wracking. Just for my heart. I'm glad we were able to put the game away right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really crucial part of the game. You know, allowed us to run the timeout and really cement ourselves with a lead. And you know, those are kind of first downs that we haven't seen happen here recently. So
yeah,
one of those things that kind of definitely built that momentum going forward. For me, when I saw this play, I visibly stood up and said, "Where has this been all year?" And I said, "Why are we just now seeing like changes?" And it was the fake punt where Sam James just comes out around the end, takes the ball, gets us a huge first down, really changes the momentum. You know, people think we're punting, and then I haven't seen a good fake punt in a little bit. And so for me, that was very exciting. And I thought that was in a crucial moment. And it kind of just showed that the coach's willingness to do whatever it takes to win. So,
yeah, and those kick return skills came in handy there. You know, I don't know if every player on the team would have got that first down, because it wasn't an obvious first down. He had to be patient and wait for that to open, and then a little hole opened up, and he scattered right through there.
Absolutely. When I saw the play coming, once I saw the pitch or the catch, I do not remember exactly how they did it. I think they pitched it. I didn't think it was going anywhere, and he just found a way to get those yards. He put his foot in the dirt and got upfield, and that's what it takes, man. And so for me, that was definitely a very pivotal play in this game. I think that's also the same drive where he had the questionable, maybe penalty, maybe not penalty.
What was that? Yeah, what was that, dude? That was wild. It should have been a penalty.
It should have been a penalty.
He got away with one.
Yeah, absolutely got away
I'll
with
never
one.
question it.
We will take some luck right now. Sooner fans, you can shut up.
Yeah. Can you believe we beat Oklahoma, man? That's great.
We beat Oklahoma. Absolutely. Haven't done it since the Fiesta Bowl.
2007.
12. Boy, does it feel good to be a Mountaineer.
It's a great day to be a Mountaineer, wherever you may be.
Gotcha. But I think that's going to do it for our live show here. So, you know, there's still a lot more to cover. And I'm sure that we've got videos coming out to cover it. So for one last time, Mountaineer Paul, tell people where they can find you and what you got coming out.
If you haven't subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, please get over there, guys. You know, I'm going to be here for the rest of the year. And then obviously I have another show, Hoops from the Hills, where we're going to be covering this great college basketball team of the Mountaineers, me and Coos. And we'll probably even have some of the Country Roads webcast guys on at some point. We've got I mean, I just got Jose Perez's contact information 2 days ago, trying to get him scheduled on the show. Hopefully we can make that happen. But he hasn't, for some reason, answered my initial texts. But I do have his information. So we're trying to the point is we're trying to get a hold of players. We're trying to get a hold of big people to bring on, and hopefully for you guys to ask questions too and enjoy that content. So definitely check out both those shows if you can.
Yeah, super exciting. I was saying, especially that Hoops channel being brand new. WVU got a really impressive win last night over Pitt at Pitt.
Yep.
Some really exciting players popping up there too. And on my behalf, I'm Big Bubba Brad, as always, with Country Roads Webcast. You can check us out here on YouTube, Country Roads Webcast. Me and my two buddies, Steve and Jordan, we get on here and we talk everything Mountaineer football, pretty specific on that, and now Mountaineer basketball, covering those with the CRW Hoops playlist going there. So yeah, definitely hop over there and give us a like and subscribe. If you're still watching this video, make sure you give it a like out there, guys. It really helps us, helps you, helps get the Mountaineer word out there. And then, of course, as always, thank you, Mark Rogers, for letting us get on here on the voice of college football and spread our love of our Mountaineer team. Make sure you guys are subscribing to this channel as well. Give it a like. We're trying to get it up there over that. I think Joey said in there 1,000 subscriptions or 1,000 subscribers, right? So trying to hit that goal, guys.
Trying to get to.
Yeah, help that out there, guys. This is really the community channel that we've got going on here where we're growing, man. We're all growing up and making sure, even in a tough year, I still think that there's been some astounding coverage of this football program. And, we're staying critical but excited for this moment right now. W's cure many woes. But with that being said,
Absolutely.
Paul, you got any final words for this win? West Virginia over Oklahoma 23-20, last second field goal in the rain on the gridiron. Any last words?
Q Country Roads.
Q Country Roads. And that'll do it for us. As always, I'm Big Bubba Brad with Country Roads Webcast. And as always, let's go Mountaineers.
Mountaineers.